Ladies and gentlemen, here's J.A. Rodrigiuez Jr.
Well, guys, thank you so excited to be here. Let's give it up for VSU, for the sponsors, for the volunteers, and most of all, for your parents who had the foresight to say, yes, you can come to this event. Let's give it up. You know, I was here last year, and there was a lot more of me last year. This year is a little bit less. I lost 30 pounds. How's it look? 30 pounds. And so the question I get asked is this, and everybody wants to read this question out loud on the count of 2. 1, 2. How do you do it? I'm glad you asked that question. I always answer that question by answering it this way. Diet, exercise, diet, exercise, diet, exercise, diet, exercise. And then I came to the foregone conclusion that that was not the right answer. It's not really how I did it that matters. What matters is why I did it. And the reason I did it is because I found something called purpose. And purpose the ally, not purpose the foe. And the best way I can explain this to you is this. And it's to tell you a story about Dave. You see, Dave grew up into a hard-working family. Dave's family owned a bakery. And around the age of 6, just about when Dave was old enough to reach over the counter, Dave was required to work in the family business because that's what families do. They help each other out. And so Dave at first decided that this was fun. Finally got to work. But then after a while, Dave noticed that he didn't have time for his friends. And after a while, he noticed he didn't have time to do the things he wanted to do. So Dave started to rebel. He figured that the purpose of being in the bakery was not his purpose, it was his parents' purpose. So he and his dad, at that point, did not really get along because his dad was really hardworking, demanded excellence for his customers, and he demanded excellence of Dave, and Dave was simply not happy. Dave found his own purpose. Only this time, Dave found purpose to follow. Purpose the enemy. And so Dave, by the age of 20, was a full-blown addict, drug addict. And so to sustain his addiction and to sustain his purpose in life, and oh, by the way, Dave was very proud that he was an addict and that he was a thief and that he was a hoodlum. He was very proud of that. That was his profession. He enjoyed the thrill of robbing people. He was just bad to the core. So at the age of 20 or so, the law catches up with Dave. Dave is driving down the road in a stolen vehicle. The police register the plate. Dave decides he cannot continue to go to jail anymore. See, because Dave's been to jail several times. It was a passage. It was an honor to go. And he knew, though, that this time, if they caught him doing that he would go to jail for a very long time. So what does Dave decide to do in that vehicle? He decides to run. Because his purpose in life is not to get caught. His purpose is to continue doing what he's doing. Purpose, the foe. So Dave, trying to run away, crashes, and the law catches up. He gets 10 years in prison. Purpose the foe got him in. So for the first 2 years, Dave was very depressed. He had a lot of time to think. He had a 6x8 cell. And one day, Dave decides that he found another purpose. And this one was the fact that life was not worth living anymore. That was his purpose. So Dave took his razor that he had. He took the razor apart and had a razor blade in there. And he figured out how to take out that razor blade. And day after day, week after week, he's trying to figure out how he can meet that purpose. How is it possible that he can do that? He just didn't have the courage to do it. So just about when Dave was mustering up the courage to fulfill his purpose, he sees and he hears commotion. He looks through the bars of his jail cell, 6x8, and he sees the guards dragging an inmate across the floor, making a mess. This inmate was injured fatally, making a mess. So they thought that this was an inmate, another inmate that caused the injuries to the particular person they were dragging. As Dave looks closer to those bars, as he looks closer, he notices that this inmate had actually accomplished what Dave was trying to do. And at that moment, and at that second, Dave found purpose. Only this time, he found what kind of purpose? He found purpose the ally. And Dave said, I am worth more than that. I know it in my heart that I am worth more than that. I am going to ask for help. And he did. And he got help. He got psychological help. He got professional help. Actually, Dave became, in prison, a computer aid designer. He studied and he worked. He found purpose. Purpose drove him to achieve what he thought he could never, ever achieve. Purpose the ally. Fast forward, close to the time when Dave was about to be released from jail, he calls his brother. And by the way, the family had disowned him, right? And by this time, the father, the strict father who worked very hard, had died. He had seen his son in prison as a felon. He died knowing that pain in his heart as a father, knowing that. And that sat very deep in Dave's heart. He calls his brother and he says, bro, I am free. I may be in jail, but I am free. I am a new person and I have found purpose. Give me another chance. I want to go back to the place I swore I would never go back to the place I despised, to the place that wasn't cool. I want to go work in the factory when I leave jail. And so the brother, looking at Dave, listening to Dave, was very apprehensive, as you can understand. The family had gone through a lot with Dave. But blood being thicker than water, what do you think the brother said? The brother said, Dave, yes, absolutely. You are welcome to come back with open arms. So Dave gets out of jail with what? Purpose. He gets out of jail with purpose. A new lease on life. Dave works hard in that bakery. Harder than he's ever worked. Harder than anybody else in that bakery. And after a while, the brother notices this and said, Dave, you've always been the creative one. You've always been the one that was always teaching to do something. You've always been the adventurous one. Our company's not doing too well. So what I would like you to do is I would love if you would come up with a new recipe for bread. So Dave, I am going to give you what? Purpose. I am going to give you purpose. I want you to develop a new bread for our family, for our company, so that we have something to offer, something different, something innovative to offer to all of our customers, so that we can grow our company and help our communities. So Dave, of course, took this on. Hour after hour, month after month. And the first dough that he put inside that oven came out as a brick. The second one did too. And the third one did too. And the fourth one did too. But Dave never gave up. And why didn't he give up? Because he had purpose. And every brick that he pulled He made a foundation of knowledge. He learned what not to do with every one of those bricks. And one day, it took 2 years. One day, Dave pulls a piece of dough from the oven that is a masterpiece. This bread was so good that when they took it to the farmer's market, it sold out. Before long, the local store owners decided they wanted a piece of their bread. Before long, the regional supermarkets wanted a piece of bread. Before long, the national markets wanted a piece of the bread. So why am I telling you the story? I'm telling you the story that you know that purpose can drive you. They, just that bread, just the flour, the flaxseed, just the ingredients in there, his passion for purpose. Took his company from 10 employees to over 250 employees and $40 million a year in sales. How is that for purpose? How is it possible that purpose can take you into jail? How is it possible that purpose can get you out of jail? How is it possible that purpose can turn you into a felon and into a very successful business person and a family man? How is it possible? Because the purpose that you choose can be your ally or your foe. You see, the decisions that you make, you don't make. You don't make those decisions. You think you do. You know what you do? You select a purpose. And the purpose defines what decisions you choose. If you are in a hurry in the morning, and you're driving your car, for those of you that drive, if you're in a hurry and you're driving your car, what is your purpose? You're late for work, what is your purpose? To get there quickly. You've already predetermined that that was your purpose, so your decision to speed is already done. Your decision to speed has already been made for you. You made it yourself by selecting the purpose. So in your life, when something is not going right, look back to what your purpose is. Look back. If something is distracting you, something happened at home, that's a problem and it's distracting you, focus on your purpose and it will get you out of the rut. It will save you from going deep into depression. Because if you select purpose, the ally, what will happen is the purpose, the foe, what will happen is you will place yourself in a 6x8 cell. And you start to wonder whether life is worth it. But if you select purpose, your ally, the power in purpose, the ally, you will rule the world. You see, because nobody can defeat purpose, especially yours. So today, I leave you with this thought. In my hand, I have some seeds in my hand. Everybody, put your hands up and catch them. Take those seeds, set them upon fertile lands, nourish the seeds, watch them grow into the wonder that is you. And when the time comes, harvest that fruit, because that juice is going to be worth the squeeze. And when you harvest that fruit, and all that's left is a handful of seeds in your hand, take those seeds, look upon fertile lands, and plant 1,000 more trees. The power of purpose is yours, and the wonder of you is completely and utterly incredible. Thank you very much.